Hey there, Bridget and Emily. Today is Tuesday, and I know what you're probably thinking. Sam, you're late with your video. Well, I am. And to make up for it, I am wearing a hat. Now, granted, I don't have any really funny hats that would actually constitute a punishment, so instead I'm just left with my uber stylish fedora. Anyway, with that out of the way, a lot of things happened to me this last week. I got my AP results back on Tuesday, and on Sunday, I bought myself a copy of Skyrim. This is last Sunday, Sunday before, this one. So my AP results came back, and I'm rather pleased with them, especially because I got a 5 in calculus. That means that I don't have to worry about taking math this year in college. As regards to Skyrim, Skyrim's keeping me pretty busy. So far I've already logged about 30 hours in the game, which isn't good. It means I spent more than a day last week, out of 7 days, playing Skyrim. So with regards to that, I've tried to spend the last few days not playing Skyrim. Also on Sunday, this Sunday, the one that just happened, I went to Emily's graduation party. And afterwards, we went to go see the new Spider-Man movie. And seeing as I still have, like about 4 minutes left to fill up on this video, I think I'm going to spend the rest of my time reviewing that movie now. I was extremely pleased with the web slinging in the new Spider-Man movie, because just like in the original 1960s animation and the 1990s animation, and I'm pretty sure in the original comic books, Peter Parker has to have a little device set up with a little cartridge that he shoots the spider silk out of. This is what was supposed to happen in the Spider-Man series. Now, in the Spider-Man series in about the early 2000s, Peter Parker just shoots it out of his wrist. Now, this is a tad bit unrealistic, because I don't know of any spiders in nature that naturally have the ability to shoot highly pressurized spider silk hundreds of feet out. What I also liked is that the new Peter Parker is much more relatable, I guess you could say, than the previous one. Andrew Garfield looks like some guy I might actually see on the street, while Tobey Maguire looks kind of creepy to begin with, and also looks like he's from the 1960s. I don't really understand that. What was also really cool in this movie is that it actually obeys the laws of physics, which is something I'm so excited about because it almost never happens in any movie I've seen recently. See, what happens is that Spider-Man has to shoot his web, and it actually has to attach to something, like a building or a crane or just something. And this is used as a plot device towards the end of the film. And it works really well, because it's realistic and it explains, where the webs are actually attaching to as he swings along. Also, they point out that he can't go any higher than his starting point. That's because of the conservation of energy. So that way you don't have Peter Parker randomly starting on some apartment building and ending up in the very top of a skyscraper just by, swinging web. I mean, come on, think about it. If he's web slinging and he goes to the tallest building in Manhattan, how exactly is he swinging up to there if he didn't start from somewhere equally as high? Doesn't really make sense. Finally, there was the romance between Peter and Gwen. Now, the romance was really awkward, which makes perfect sense because they're both huge nerds. I think that they said in the movie they're ranked 1 and 2 in their class, and that they probably spend more time looking at textbooks than at people's faces. So it makes sense that they would be kind of awkward. However, the way they portray it in the movie, at first it's endearing, and then after a while it gets more than a little bit annoying. But I think I was overall okay with that. There were really only a few things that bugged me about this movie. Probably the biggest is that Peter Parker never tells his aunt that he's Spider-Man. Now, this wouldn't usually be a problem considering that in the 1960s series, also in the 1990s series in the comics, Aunt May is never told that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. However, in the movie, they kind of make a problem with this because Peter Parker tells Gwen, who, by the time he tells her, he's known her for a grand total of 20 minutes and has spent half that time mumbling awkwardly and looking at his feet when he's with her, that he's Spider-Man. Now, okay, I can kind of understand that seeing he has his big crush on Gwen, but he also tells Gwen's father, who is the police chief, who tells Peter that he hates Spider-Man. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, seriously, if you're willing to tell someone who's almost a complete stranger who says that, oh, by the way, I hate Spider-Man, that I'm Spider-Man, it just doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't tell your aunt, who clearly cares about you and who, from the looks of the movie, you've known most of your life. But I digress. The other problem that this movie has is that Peter Parker is in high school instead of college. In most of the series that I've seen, and I think including the original comics, Peter Parker is in college. Which makes sense, because, as a college student, you would expect him to know a little bit about, electronics and engineering and stuff. But really? A high school student who can design a pressurized shooting thing all by himself and also create an entire outfit that looks like it was made by some guy from, Gucci or something? I mean, those things cost hundreds of dollars to buy. And furthermore, it takes a lot of skill to engineer some sort of system to shoot pressurized liquids out hundreds of feet, especially one that fits in your wrist. I mean, they try and get around this by saying that Peter Parker is a prodigy, he's the son of some, genius scientist, and that he goes to this magnet school. But, I mean, come on. I'm no slouch academically, and I wouldn't know where to begin when trying to design some sort of, web shooting device. I wouldn't even know how to get a circuit to work that would eventually do that, or how to get the transistors and all that stuff. I mean, they try to make it seem like he's a genius, and they make it very clear that he is, but I just don't buy it. Not really, no. Barring all of that, though, it was a really good movie. I really liked how it was done, I liked the characters, and I liked how Andrew Garfield plays Spider-Man. It was a good movie overall, far superior to the previous Spider-Man films. Granted, Peter looks a bit too buff and a bit too well-kempt to actually be a high school nerd, but I can look past that thanks to the awkward relationship he has with Gwen, which makes it, at its worst, a bit annoying, but at its best, very endearing. It makes Peter Parker look much more human, unlike that emo Peter Parker we saw back in the previous Spider-Man films. Would I pay to see this movie again? Yeah, I think I would. And I'm probably going to go see the second movie in the series after they gave us that whole cliffhanger ending at the end of the movie. I'm not going to tell you what that is, so I don't want to spoil the movie. Well, that is all I have to say for today, and I'll see you, Bridget, tomorrow on Wednesday. See ya!